Hey everyone, how's it going? And yeah, let's not beat around the bush. I'm covering the Book of Bill. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've covered some Gravity Falls content, which was, damn, 3 years ago? Well, okay, yeah. It's been 3 years since I covered Journal 3, and I thought it'd be the end of it. But then, lo and behold, I was surprised to find out that Gravity Falls would be returning in a new novel, The Book of Bill. But before I get into the book itself, I should explain on who Bill is. Yeah, I know, it seems ridiculous since, yeah, if you came here, you're clearly a Gravity Falls fan, but there is a very good, though slim chance that someone probably has just clicked on this and has no idea who the hell Bill is. So let's do it for their sake. Back in 2012, oh my god, I feel old, Disney released a new animated series called Gravity Falls. The series focused on the Pine twins, Dipper and Mabel, who are sent to Gravity Falls, Oregon for the summer to live with their great uncle Stan. Dipper would get his hands on a mysterious journal known as Journal Number 3 and learn that there is far more to the town than meets the eye. During this journey, he would face off against strange monsters, mysterious organizations, but the weirdest of them all was Bill Cipher. Bill Cipher was a dream demon. Like you? No, not like me. Seriously, I'm a frickin' novice compared to him. Though looking like the weird love child of the Illuminati symbol in Mr. Peanut, Bill was a legit threat, and probably the most twisted character. Hell, the first time you meet him, he pulls out a deer's teeth and gives it to a child. Granted, that child was also a frickin' psycho, but still, it's pretty messed up. As the series progressed, we learned more about Bill, how he actually knew the author of the journal, Dipper's great uncle Ford, and how he manipulated him into helping him essentially start, well, as Ford puts it, Weirdmageddon, a cosmic event that would just be pure and utter madness and chaos. And Bill nearly succeeded in the end, but luckily the Pines family came together and took him out. Or did they? As it was later revealed that when Bill was being defeated, he uttered something that implied that he would return. Does this book reveal that? Well, let's dive into the Book of Bill and find out. Our story begins with a message from Ford Pines, explaining how he found the Book of Bill. At first he thought it was just a prank, as apparently, despite the fact that Gravity Falls all agreed never to talk about this event ever again, there are some people who are apparently worshipping Bill, because it is edgy. There's a lot of things that I would describe Bill, but edgy is not one of them. But when Ford tries to get rid of it, the book keeps coming back, over and over and over again, until he realizes that this book clearly is linked to Bill somehow, as it actually tells you how to communicate with Bill. And once you do so, Bill shows up and he starts addressing the reader. He'll give you two options. You can learn some of the great secrets and madness that is Bill Cipher, or you could just skip all that and go to page 77, which is all about silly straws, and also Bill talking about how you're a massive wuss. But if you agreed, yeah, Bill does tell you a few things about himself, like his secrets about how to lose weight by just removing your skin. If he regrets causing the apocalypse, no he does not. And if it's true that he dated a void, he said he just had coffee, but we all know he's lying. But also explains about all of his great powers, and was about to share his weaknesses, but immediately realized why the hell would he do that, which leads to the book to, for some reason, turn into The Great Gatsby. No, really, for like 5.5 pages, you were just reading The Great Gatsby. As the book will progress, you'll see some really weird stuff. Of course, like a batshit crazy interactive section, Bill's philosophy on life, reality, and of course how to cheat death. And just like Journal 3, shares about other urban legends of Gravity Falls and beyond, like the Slender Man, a supernatural being who, well, slanders people, Guillermo del Torso, a giant floating torso that kidnaps children, and of course Bill himself. He also talks about some of the people of Gravity Falls, in particular the Pines family and anyone he just so happened to go in the mind of. And some of them are pretty damn dark, like Pacifica. Yeah, you probably think that, oh, you know, given this character, it's probably something goofy, like, you know, wearing, like, the wrong kind of shoes. No, it's her being haunted by the horrible sins of her family, with no matter how much she scrubs, blood is always on her hands. And Dipper has a recurring nightmare of when, right before he went to Gravity Falls, he heard his parents having a really nasty fight.
Sure, we have some silly ones.
Like Gideon still having nightmares about that sailor suit, but
yeah, you get the idea.
As the book continues, Bill will talk more about himself, his henchmen, and how he's affected mankind throughout history. Along with that, we even get some lost pages of the journal, which actually starts out with Ford talking about how one time he fought Krampus, get ready to hear more about him in December, during the holiday season, and the events that would lead to him finally getting Bill out of his head. Now you're probably thinking, Biz, you freak of nature, that's not what we want to know about. We want to know if Bill actually survives. Well, you're going to have to read to find out. Look, by this point, you can tell it's a pretty crazy book. It was written by the series creator Alex Hirsch, and yeah, he hasn't lost a beat with these characters at all. And this book was also him kind of stretching his horror legs a little bit more, as this book was actually written for a slightly older audience. He really doesn't pull his punches for some of these things, and yeah, when it gets dark, it will get pretty freaking dark, especially when Bill does dive into his backstory. Speaking of characters, well, Well, of course, we're mostly going to be talking about Bill. Bill is still that agent of chaos that is so unpredictable. Kind of a prestige with him, where you know for a fact that he's going to show you some really twisted things. He's going to tell you some really twisted things. And while that's all happening, there's going to be some strange twist to it. Like, there's some manipulation that he's trying to get out of you. Though, unlike in the show where he seemed to have full control over it, well, in here not as much. Since after Weirdmageddon, you can tell that he's kind of out of practice. He tends to lose his cool a lot more. Again, best example being when he almost talks about his weaknesses, along with whenever they ask the question on what exactly happened to him after Weirdmageddon. This vulnerability also makes it easier for us to understand what he was like before he became the chaotic, interdimensional nutcase everyone knows and loves. Without spoiling it, there is a sadness to it all. Also, we learn exactly how he feels about each member of Gravity Falls. Like, for example, apparently he actually does like Mabel a lot, seeing her as a ball of crazy, which kind of explains the bubble, and also his relationship with Ford. Again, during the Lost Pages segment, we do see that Bill was really trying to get Ford to listen to him again. And as Ford as a character, though he's not as present as he was in the previous books, you do understand a little bit more about him and why he was actually so desperate to call Stan to try to get rid of Bill. And also we get some brief cameos from characters like Stan and Mabel. Unfortunately, not many other characters get to pop up in here, but you can actually see their opinions in the Time website, thisisnotawebsite.com, where if you input certain characters' names, some characters like Wendy and Seuss talk about their opinions on the book. Also, if you type down Stan's name, you'll either get the Wheel of Shame or eBay pages to stuff that he likes, like gold chains and knuckle dusters. Also, type down McGugget. You're welcome. On a whole, Bill is still a solid character and a fascinating mystery. Talking about the art is, well, kind of complicated since there are a bunch of different artists on this book, each one working on different pages, so covering each one would be kind of a hassle. But the visuals are still really good, balancing out from being very, very goofy to downright terrifying.
My favorite probably was the one at the end. I can't really spoil what exactly it was, but let's just say the visuals were really interesting. And a shame that we are probably not gonna get season 3 in a long time since
some of those visuals I could totally see happening in animation. But yeah, that's the Book of Bill. It's a fun read, it's chaotic, it's weird, and something I definitely recommend for the Halloween season. My only real gripe being that this book was made for the Gravity Falls fans, so if you've never seen Gravity Falls, you're really gonna be lost reading this book, especially when it comes to the ciphers, which are tons of fun, and once again, if you solve some of them, it will come into play with the website, which I will leave a link in the description down below. But yeah, the Book of Bill is a piece of madness that everyone should read. Just don't forget your grappling hook. Thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe, and next time, well, we thought we were done, but no, we are far from over, as we once again return to Batman: The Long Halloween. Later.